Inside your body right now, there is an entire repair system working to keep you alive. Not someday, not when you finally take a supplement, not after some expensive treatment. Right now, your body is constantly scanning for damaged cells, worn out proteins, inflamed tissues, hormone imbalances, energy crashes, and microscopic signs that something is starting to go wrong. And when the right signals are present, it doesn't just slow disease down, it shifts into repair mode. It starts cleaning what is damaged, replacing what is weak, calming what is inflamed, rebuilding what has been stressed, and restoring systems that most people don't even realize are breaking down. That's the part almost nobody talks about. Most people think healing only happens after something goes wrong. They think healing starts after diagnosis, after symptoms, after medication, after the body is already screaming for help. But real healing starts much earlier than that. Starts in the quiet moments, in the hours when your body finally feels safe enough to repair, in the signals you send through food, movement, sleep, light, stress, and recovery, and in whether your biology gets the message to keep fighting or finally start rebuilding, because your body is always listening. It is listening to when you sleep. It is listening to how often you spike your stress hormones. It is listening to whether you move enough to circulate oxygen and immune cells. It is listening to whether you feed repair or just feed cravings. And it is listening to whether your daily routine tells your system to stay inflamed or to come back into balance. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you what actually tells the body to begin healing itself naturally, why most people accidentally block those healing signals every single day, and why the most powerful triggers are often the ones that look the least dramatic. Because the truth is, healing is not usually about doing one extreme thing. It's about removing the signals that keep the body stuck in survival mode and restoring the signals that allow it to repair. And once you understand that, everything changes. Now, when most people hear the word healing, they imagine something vague. They picture rest, green juice, supplements, maybe a detox, maybe a cleanse. But biologically, healing is not vague at all. Healing is measurable. It means inflammation resolving instead of staying chronically elevated. It means immune cells doing surveillance the way they're supposed to. It means damaged proteins being cleared. It means tissues getting oxygen. It means hormones moving back toward rhythm instead of chaos. It means the nervous system spending less time in threat and more time in recovery. It means the body stopping unnecessary damage faster than new damage is being created. That is what healing actually is, and your body already knows how to do all of that. The problem is that modern life keeps interrupting it. We live in a world of constant stimulation, irregular sleep, processed food, emotional overload, artificial light, endless sitting, and stress that never fully shuts off. So even when people look functional from the outside, internally their systems often stay in low-grade emergency mode. And a body in emergency mode does not prioritize repair. It prioritizes short-term survival. That means digestion gets weaker. Sleep gets lighter, inflammation stays higher, blood sugar becomes less stable, recovery slows down, hormones drift, immune coordination gets messier, and all of a sudden people start saying things like, I don't know why I feel so run down, or why does my body take so long to recover now? Or why do I feel inflamed all the time? This is why your body may not be broken. It may just be blocked from doing what it was designed to do. And the first healing signal that removes that block is something far more powerful than most people realize. Trigger 1, sleep rhythm. That signal is sleep rhythm, not just sleep quantity, sleep rhythm. Because healing doesn't only depend on whether you sleep. It depends on whether your body can predict when recovery is supposed to happen. Your biology runs on timing. Hormones rise and fall on timing. Immune coordination runs on timing. Cellular repair runs on timing. Tissue restoration runs on timing. Even the way your body handles inflammation changes depending on time of day and circadian alignment. Sleep and the circadian system are deeply tied to immune regulation. Deep sleep supports the kind of immune signaling that helps the body build durable defense and restoration patterns. Chronic sleep disruption, on the other hand, is linked with inflammation and impaired immune function. In simple terms, when your sleep becomes chaotic, your healing becomes chaotic. And this is where most people misunderstand recovery. They think if they sleep in on weekends, they can undo 5 days of damage. But the body doesn't work like a machine you switch off and on. It works more like an orchestra. It needs rhythm. It needs repeated timing. It needs a reliable window where the nervous system, hormones, and immune system can coordinate. If your bedtime is all over the place, your body never fully trusts when recovery is coming. So it stays more reactive than restorative. Practically, one of the most healing things you can do is go to sleep and wake up at roughly the same time every day. Not perfectly, but consistently. A tight sleep window sends one of the clearest, "it's safe to repair now," signals your body can receive. And if you want to amplify that even more, get natural light into your eyes early in the day and reduce bright artificial light at night. Morning light tells the body when the day begins. Darkness tells it when repair begins. That is trigger number 1. Trigger 2, walking after meals. Trigger number 2 is one that sounds almost too simple to matter, but biologically it changes everything. And that is walking after meals. Most people underestimate what happens in the body after they eat. If the body cannot manage the incoming fuel properly, blood sugar rises too high, insulin stays elevated longer, and the system spends more time handling overload instead of using energy cleanly. Over time, that creates more oxidative stress, more inflammation, and more wear on the tissues. But light movement after a meal changes that equation. When you walk, your muscles act like active storage sites for glucose. They begin pulling energy out of the bloodstream and using it. That means less metabolic traffic jam, less chaos, less need for the body to forcefully manage excess fuel. And when energy is handled better, the body has more capacity for repair. This is one of the reasons movement is so much more than calorie burning. Movement is information. It tells the body what to do with fuel, how to regulate inflammation, and how aggressively it needs to stay in defensive mode. Regular, moderate physical activity improves immune surveillance, reduces chronic inflammation, and supports overall metabolic health. Each bout of movement helps circulate highly active immune cells and contributes to a healthier long-term inflammatory profile. So no, you do not need some brutal workout to help your body heal. You need consistency. Even 10 minutes of walking after meals can become a repair signal, not because it looks impressive, but because it keeps your internal chemistry from becoming unnecessarily destructive. Trigger 3, chronic stress, and that leads into the third trigger, which may be the most overlooked healing block of all: chronic stress. Now, when people hear stress, they often think of mindset, emotions, or mental health. But stress is not just something you feel. It is something your biology has to process. Every unresolved stressor costs the body resources. Stress changes hormones. It changes blood flow. It changes inflammation. It changes sleep quality. It changes appetite. It changes immune behavior. And perhaps most importantly, it changes what the body believes its priority should be. If the body believes you are under threat, it will always choose immediate survival over long-term repair. That is why stress and healing are in direct competition. Psychological stress can slow wound healing and interfere with the processes required for repair. Stress affects healing through both direct physiological pathways and indirect behavioral ones, including worse sleep, poorer food choices, and disrupted recovery habits. Think about what that means. A stressed body is not just feeling bad. A stressed body is reallocating energy away from healing. So if you want your body to start healing itself naturally, you have to reduce the signals that keep telling it danger is still present. Now, that does not mean your life has to become perfect. It means you need daily off-ramps. You need moments that tell your nervous system you can come out of defense now. That could be slow breathing, a quiet walk without your phone, journaling, prayer, time in nature, laughter, connection with someone who calms your system instead of activating it. Or even 5 minutes where you sit in silence and stop feeding your brain another wave of stimulation. The method matters less than the message. And the message is safety, because safety is where healing begins. Optional CTA beat. Before I get into the next triggers, if this is already changing the way you think about healing, take a second to subscribe. Because most people are trying to force their bodies into health while unknowingly keeping the very repair systems they need switched off. Trigger 4. Protein timing and nutrient sufficiency. Now, trigger number 4 is protein timing and nutrient sufficiency. This one is critical because the body cannot rebuild with raw materials it doesn't have. A lot of people want healing, but they are undersleeping, overstressing, undereating real nutrients, and then wondering why recovery feels slow. But healing is expensive, biologically expensive, to repair tissue, support immune function, create collagen, regulate inflammation, and rebuild damaged structures. The body needs amino acids, vitamins, minerals, energy, and oxygen delivery. If those inputs are missing, healing becomes compromised. Protein status and overall nutrition are central to recovery. Protein energy malnutrition impairs immunity and delays healing, while nutrients like arginine, glutamine, zinc, iron, and vitamins A, C, and D support processes like collagen formation, immune activation, and tissue restoration. In other words, your body can be willing to heal and still be undersupplied. That's why one of the most practical healing shifts is to stop eating like your body only needs fuel and start eating like your body needs construction material. Ask yourself, are you getting enough protein to repair tissue? Are you getting enough vitamin C to support collagen stability? Enough iron to carry oxygen? Enough zinc to support high turnover repair processes? Enough overall nourishment to let your body stop rationing resources? Because if the answer is no, then your system may be trying to repair with an empty toolbox. Now, this does not mean perfection. It means adequacy. A simple way to think about it is this. Every meal should either help stabilize the body or it will make the body work harder. Prioritize whole foods. Include real protein. Get color from fruits and vegetables. Don't chronically undereat. And stop normalizing a diet that leaves your body overfed in calories but underfed in nutrients. That is not nourishment. That is biological confusion. Trigger 5, metabolic switching, and the fifth trigger that helps the body begin healing naturally is metabolic switching. This is where the conversation becomes really interesting. Most people live in a near constant fed state. They wake up and eat, snack, sip calories, eat again, snack again, dessert, late night food, and the body rarely gets a meaningful window to shift out of processing mode and into deeper cleanup and repair mode. Now, to be clear, extreme fasting is not the point here. And it is not right for everyone, but strategic gaps between meals can change the body's internal priorities. When food intake is reduced for a period of time, the body begins shifting away from constant growth signaling and toward adaptive stress responses, fat utilization, and cellular cleanup processes like autophagy. These changes are associated with increased stress resistance and improved cellular maintenance, though human outcomes depend heavily on context and individual health status. What matters here is the principle. When the body is not constantly digesting, spiking insulin, and processing incoming food, it gets an opportunity to redirect energy toward internal housekeeping, toward repair, toward recycling, toward cleanup, toward getting rid of damaged cellular material that does not need to stay there. That does not mean you need a 3-day fast. For many people, it may simply mean stop eating so late at night, leave a clean gap between dinner and breakfast, and avoid turning your entire day into one endless feeding window. The body likes contrast, times to eat, times to digest, times to recover. Times to repair. When you erase all contrast, healing signals become weaker. Trigger 6, inflammation resolution through moderate movement. And one of the reasons this works so well is because it pairs with the next trigger, which is inflammation resolution through moderate movement, not overtraining, not punishing cardio, not no pain, no gain. Moderate movement, because there is a point where exercise helps healing and a point where it becomes more stress than stimulus. The sweet spot for most people is repeated, moderate, sustainable movement that improves circulation, lymphatic flow, insulin sensitivity, and immune coordination without crushing recovery. That could be brisk walking, cycling, light strength training, mobility work, swimming, or simply being a person who moves several times throughout the day instead of compressing all movement into one gym session and sitting the other 23 hours. This matters because circulation is delivery. If blood flow is poor, nutrient delivery is poor. If movement is poor, lymphatic movement is poor. If tissue oxygenation is poor, repair is slower. If inflammation never resolves properly, the body stays stuck in a half-healed state. That is where many people live. Not acutely sick, not fully well, just chronically unrecovered. And moderate daily movement is one of the clearest ways out of that state. The exercise immunology literature makes this very clear. Regular moderate activity enhances immune defense, reduces low-grade inflammation, and supports healthier immune regulation over time. So if you want a healing body, stop asking only, how hard do I need to train? Start asking, how often does my body get the signal to circulate, regulate, and recover? That is a much more powerful question, trigger 7. Emotional decompression now. The 7th trigger may be the most underestimated of all because it feels passive, and that is emotional decompression. A lot of damage in the body is not created by one giant traumatic event. It is created by small, repeated internal tension that never fully resolves. The conversation you keep replaying, the anger you never express, the grief you never process, the pressure you never step away from, the constant alertness that never shuts off. People often think emotions are separate from healing. They are not. Your body experiences unprocessed emotional strain as biology. That is why people under long-term stress often feel inflamed, tired, reactive, bloated, wired, foggy, or slow to recover. The system is using energy to stay vigilant, and that vigilance is expensive. Research on stress and healing doesn't just show that stress is harmful. It also suggests that supportive interaction, emotional disclosure, humor, and reduced psychological distress can improve healing outcomes. That means the body heals better when it is not carrying everything alone. So part of natural healing is not just what you eat or how you sleep. It is what you stop holding inside. Talk, write, pray, cry, laugh, tell the truth. Let tension leave the body instead of becoming its permanent climate, because no supplement on earth can fully outcompete a nervous system that never feels allowed to unclench. The real secret? Coherence, not intensity. Now let's go even deeper, because there's one major reason most people fail when they try to get healthy. They chase intensity instead of signal quality. They think if a little is good, more must be better. So they overfast, overtrain, over-restrict, overstimulate, over-supplement, over-complicate, and then they wonder why they feel worse. But healing usually does not respond best to chaos. It responds to coherence. Your body heals when multiple systems receive the same message at the same time. Sleep says repair. Food says nourishment. Movement says circulate. Stress reduction says safety. Meal timing says cleanup. Light exposure says rhythm. Connection says protection. When these signals line up, the body stops getting mixed instructions. And mixed instructions are one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Think about how many people are sending their bodies completely conflicting messages every day. They want energy, but they sleep at random times. They want less inflammation, but they never stop stressing. They want better hormones, but they live under artificial light at midnight. They want healing, but their routine keeps shouting emergency. The body cannot fully rebuild in contradiction. It needs alignment. That is the real secret. Not a miracle supplement, not a trendy protocol, not a 7-day reset. Challenge signals your body is healing. And if you want to know whether your body is actually moving toward healing, there are signs. You wake up less inflamed, your digestion becomes more predictable, your cravings become less chaotic, your energy stops crashing so hard, your sleep becomes deeper, your mood becomes steadier, your recovery time improves, your mind feels clearer. Your body stops feeling like it is constantly fighting itself. Those are not random wins. Those are signs the system is regaining order. Now, I want to make one important point here. Natural healing does not mean the body can fix absolutely everything by itself in every circumstance. And it definitely does not mean you should ignore medical care when you need it. What it means is this: your body has built-in repair intelligence. And most people are living in a way that suppresses it. So the goal is not magical thinking. The goal is to work with biology instead of against it. And the beautiful part is that many of the most powerful healing signals are free. Consistent sleep, morning light, walking after meals, moderate movement, stress-dense food, space between meals, emotional release. A quieter nervous system. These are not glamorous, but they are powerful because the body does not care what is trending. It responds to what is repeated. Closing, let me put that another way. Your body is not healed by what impresses people. It is healed by what it can trust, and trust is built through repetition. One good night of sleep helps. A week of consistent sleep changes more. One walk after dinner helps. A month of daily walking changes more. One calm evening helps. A nervous system that regularly experiences safety changes more. This is why tiny habits can create massive biological shifts, because healing is cumulative. Every good signal stacks. Every bad signal stacks too. That means you do not need to become perfect overnight. You just need to start changing the direction of the stack. If right now your body is overwhelmed, inflamed, exhausted, or slow to recover, do not ask, what one big thing will heal me? Ask, what signals am I sending every day? Which ones are telling my body to stay in stress? And which ones tell it that repair can begin? Because that is where the answer is. And if I had to simplify everything in this video into one sentence, it would be this: Your body starts healing itself naturally when your daily habits stop signaling emergency and start signaling safety, rhythm, nourishment, and repair. That is the shift. So if you actually want to put this into practice, start here. Tonight, go to sleep a little earlier. Tomorrow morning, get sunlight early. After your meals, walk. Eat real food with enough protein and micronutrients. Leave some space between dinner and breakfast. Move your body moderately. And carve out a few minutes every day where your nervous system is allowed to stand down. Do that consistently, and you won't just feel like you're trying to be healthy. You'll start creating the conditions where healing becomes normal again. And once that happens, the body often does what it has wanted to do all along: repair, recover, rebalance.